Hello and welcome to another episode of the Take a Pull podcast, episode 26 coming at you today, where we look ahead to a 7-race card at Fairyhouse, and we are also treated deck to a special guest, which we will introduce just in a moment. But before that, how are you?
Yeah, all good, all good. Two mad days, I think, wasn't it? Fairyhouse and Gowran for ourselves. We were very unlucky, I think.
Hitting the crossbar. All right,
definitely gonna win, but today we hit the bar big time. But it's gonna click soon enough. I hope.
It will click. Yeah, well, people seem to be enjoying it anyway, which is the main thing. It goes from strength to strength, and we do very much appreciate it. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we start. We are running a competition on our Twitter pages. You can see below for the Dublin Racing Festival. So be sure to enter there and be in with a chance to go to an excellent race day featuring the Irish Champion Hurdle on the Sunday. The winner be announced by Hugh Cattle on our show next week, which covers the Dublin Racing Festival. But without further ado, I'm going to bring in a young and up-and-coming trainer who has taken the Irish racing by storm with St. Denis as well, recording 2 wins in the space of pretty much a week.
3 days.
3 days, yeah, that's 3 days. That's fair enough. Saying a week is probably unfair on the horse, but he's gone up at a total, I think, of 16 pounds that we were talking about just beforehand. And Ian Donoghue is going to be here to join us. Ian, congratulations with St. Denis as well this week. How's the horse and how are you feeling after that?
Thanks, lads. Yeah, it was great. Not a bother on him. Usually he goes out to the paddock every day after he rides out, and he's been out there, but we actually have to bring him in because he's been galloping around that much when the others are riding out. So he's coming out of it fresh anyway. But he doesn't kill himself.
Should have tried to stick him in again.
One of the owners actually texted in earlier there that they reckon the first of Fairyhouse looks weak at the weekend.
Would have suited him lovely.
Yeah, that was great for them boys. They're a great bunch of lads. They're probably one of the first owners we had in the yard, and their patience have paid off. Anyway, that's 3 wins there in 2 months. So
are they? Where are they from? Are they from Westmeath, or are they West Ham fans, or?
No, they're from Clogherhead, and some of them are Drogheda, so that's the Drogheda United colours.
Right, very good.
Actually, I called to the pub to them the other night now, and they're fighting over the colours. One of them said it's the Dreadnoughts. I think that's Clogherhead local team, and the other boy said it's Drogheda. So, no, they're a good bunch of lads, and they're just in it for the crack, and at least they're getting well paid with it now.
Yeah, very good. I'd say there was a few sore heads, so I said it was the week off work for some of them.
Yeah, there's one of them still hasn't come back, and that's he booked it off once the horse won on Saturday. I think he texted the boss say he wouldn't see him for the week, so he might be looking to see him next week.
Happy days. Must have been some buzz for them.
Yeah, no, it's great for them smaller syndicates too, like the same as your own, Declan. It's nice to see them get their turn at it.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Like we the time of our lives, similar 2 wins in a week, like, and there's no experience like it, so I can only imagine the crack they had. We were all right though. Our second win was on a Thursday, so we had the weekend to party.
Yeah, you got a good weekend of it. They're that mad. They were texting me the other night. I wasn't going to go to meet them, and I said, "Look, I'll go where the phone will be hopping all night." When I got to the pub, there was no electric. It was gone with the wind, but they were sitting there in the dark. It didn't bother
them. Memories.
Yeah.
Ian, tell us maybe the benefit of having patient owners like that, because I know you alluded to it before we were speaking. Like, obviously, horses like St. Denis as well, and many other horses, they do need time. And you will obviously know yourself with your history of breaking in horses, etc. So just tell us how much of a benefit that is to, how much part of the game it is, especially at that level.
Yeah, it really is. Like, we see it ourselves in our own pointers. Like, we had horses probably could have ran last spring as 4-year-olds. So we saw they're a little bit weak, give them time, and then they went and won the autumn, kind of paid off for us. I know it's easier for us to do it ourselves, they're our own horses, but like the boys, we could have kept running him after Keith finished 4th on him in Clonmel last year. We did run him once more, and he pulled up, and the Keith got off him that day, and he said to the boys, "Look, he's no cert the next day. He still feels weak," and he was, but lucky enough, they paid off. Like, they probably could have blown him out, and they probably wouldn't have bought another horse, or if they did, they might have got another one like him. Really, when just shows, and he got to Summer's Grass, he strengthened up.
He's still only 6, is he?
Yeah, he's still only a 6-year-old. Yeah, he came to us. He was laid on as a 3-year-old. He could have even nearly been 4, and he was backward. He was after coming down off the side of a mountain outside Newry, and he was only about 15.2, and the amount he's grown, he's 16.2 now. Like, he's a big horse, and after another summer's grass, he'll fill out into a spray. It's bad. Like the old Jim Draper way, the time they give them doesn't suit all owners. Like we do, be trying to buy them like Brownstone, ready to rock. We only have to train him for 6 weeks, and then he ran 6 times in 9 weeks and was never out of prize money. That suits other syndicates. They're not as patient, and the kind of everyone's different, really.
Yeah,
literally, yeah.
You need to know your customers well at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when you're getting new into the yard, you'd like to get results for them quick, and if they can stay loyal, then after that you can take all the time you want.
How many owners do you have, and how do you find managing them? Obviously, like you've touched on it there, managing owners can be, I'd say, is maybe the main part of the job, keeping them happy, keeping them coming back, and maybe even passing the word around and getting you new owners.
Yeah, it is. Like what was 36 in? So there's guts of 15 owners there. And then the other half would be our own. The syndicates and the WhatsApp groups, voice notes, very easy. That's St. Denis as well. I think there's over 100 messages a day going to that group now, but there might be only one of them about the horse, like. Just boys slagging. And then other owners, obviously, like we have an owner there, he only lives 2 miles down the road, but he wouldn't be able to answer the phone. So you just call him out once a week, tell him about his horse and how's things going, and he's happy, or he calls in, like it's an open yard. Whenever anyone wants to call in, and it's good that way.
Very good. Yeah, it is important to syndicates to be able to get down and see the horse and see them doing a bit of work. They do enjoy that. And do you give weekly updates or monthly updates?
Yeah, kind of weekly. Whenever they like to, most of them school once a week. Depends on what way they're galloping or when they're running. But once they're doing that and they're away anywhere, they all videos in and keep them well updated, and even good or bad. Like it's way easier just tell them they're not going well. There's no point saying they're flying when they're not.
Yeah, absolutely. Honesty is obviously the best policy. And you said you had 36 and 50 or around 15 hours at the minute. Are many of them like in and full training right now, or are a couple of them be for the summer or in the few like later down the line?
There's a few flat ones just start coming back in this week. It's looking like we probably have 6 or 7 for the flat. They start coming back in this week. Then the other half of them, 30 be our pointers, self and Ross and Keaton all own them together. And then I think we have 5 returning trained over jumps at the moment, so we're not too bad. Now one of them actually was in a hunter's chase, so he'll go back for a point. And we've a few that took a bit of time now. They're just back and work, getting ready for a summer campaign.
Fantastic. And we see you do have a couple of entries, I believe, coming up. Excuse me. You have a couple of entries coming up, I believe. 4:30 tomorrow, you have General Idea declared for Dundalk, and a couple next week there as well. Brownstone and Big Barry. Yeah,
General Idea tomorrow. Last Friday was the plan for him, just didn't work out. We got Sam Ewan to ride, and we thought it'd be very valuable in them less than 15 winners races. Like, he was Geraldine's apprentice and he was riding on the flat, so he wouldn't get better. And just didn't work out. He's a funny old horse. He broke well and then got squeezed back a bit. He was just too far back then. Sam came in, held his hands up. He says, look, very sorry. He says, that didn't go to plan. So hopefully tomorrow evening there's plan B. Dylan Brown McGonigal will ride him. We've got association with Dylan from Keith, used to pony race for his uncle. And he was home, so he was mad to get on him, and he says he'll win, so hope he's right.
Well, there you go. You straight from the trainer's mouth there, guys. And very best luck. That's 4:30 tomorrow at Dundalk for anybody that is interested in that. And so
even then, we've Brownstone in on Monday. I see Philip Dempsey's corner of a Monday in that. He was actually finished second in a 4-year-old for us in Rackcannon, and Philip bought him. So Keith's kind of stood by him now. I was trying to get him on Brownstone, but I think he's riding corner for Monday, so I hope he's picking the wrong one.
Very good.
And even then, you touch back to the owners, like the horse in the maiden hurdle on Tuesday.
Big Barry.
Yeah, he ran 2 points. He was a horse was going to take time. I said to the owners, he ran last spring. I said, look, he shouldn't be running. And they said, look, we're not selling. We're just running for the experience. If he gets tired, pull him up. He finished a bad 8. And then he came in this year. He went 4-year-olds and tats. He pulled up on bottomless ground, but he got to second last. So you're not, you might be all right. So the plan still was to go for point.
Yeah.
They're still with us,
sorry,
yeah.
was.
Yeah. The plan was to go for a point to point.
Yeah, that was until 10 o'clock this morning, and I was just chatting to the owner, Stephen Pearson. He's from the north, and their local point to point to be Kirkstown. I says, look, he'd be ready to run there. He said, "He win?" I says, "No." And he says, "Well, how we going to get him to win?" I says, "Sure, he'll win during the summer on the track." So he was happy. He says, "Right, I'll do the authority act, go to the track." So when you have owners like that, it's very easy to train them horses.
Yeah, that's it. And then you said you've been around, you've had your license now for 2 or 3 years. You got it during COVID when you said point to point.
No, I only have it a year. The handler's license before that, just the point to pointers. And when COVID hit, we were allowed run and point to point bumpers in the track. So I think we ran in 2 of them, 3rd and 6th. Before that, then I was back working for Gavin. I rode for Gavin when I was 16, and I suppose I got fat and lazy. I was always mad into the hunting, so went hunting and got a good job hunting hounds up north. Loved that. Then Alana and my wife got pregnant, and it was time to grow up, so we moved home. I went in riding out in Gavin's and lost 4 stone and went back riding for a season.
Fantastic.
But, it was good to do. I used to go up north on a Wednesday, try to go to Warren Ewan's and go into Stuart Crawford's and just see the way them lads were doing it and schooling for all them after pint of pints and that. And it's a good way to learn, like see how other yards do it.
We are getting a great grasp of the industry from just speaking to you here, Ian. But maybe just tell us a little bit about how important Gavin Cromwell and his operation is to your operation and how it complements each other.
Yeah, savage. Like when we moved home that time 4 years ago, this Alana's home place, there was 2 stables out there that we had previously for 2 hunters, and that was it. And Gavin pulled me one morning and he said, "Look, get in a little gallop there." I thought I was too small, and he said, "Look, you're not going to get dizzy, and keep it good and deep in a perfect circle." And he said, "I'll give you breakers and I'll support you," and he did. That's the type of man he is. He was straight to his word, and from that summer on, then we grew. I think we built 9 stables. Then within 18 months, we built another barn with another 10. And like just anytime someone would ring, we try to throw up another stable, and that was we're full now, that sort of way.
Yeah.
But that was always Gavin's motto. He said, if you have to put them in the garden shed, you take them. Like he says, because if you don't, someone else does. So it's worked for him. Like I could see from when I was riding that time when I was 16, Gavin only had 8 stables. Compared to the empire he's built now, like.
Yeah, fair play to him.
It's phenomenal, yeah. And is that where do you see yourself then in maybe the 12 to 24 month range? I know it's a very open question, but is that what you want to aspire to, or
Yeah, like a lad on the phone earlier slagging me, "Oh, you're turning into a track trainer now. You're not a point to point man." I need the point to pointers to run well and sell, so we can hopefully buy a bit of land and build a bigger yard. And like I know myself, I'm lucky with the owners I have. They're sending me their horses. I don't have quad facilities Gordon Elliott has, or Willie or Gavin, but we're lucky here. Like I could ring Gavin now and ask him to bring 10 horses there in the morning to school, and he'd say, "Yeah, no bother." So we're lucky that way. The owners trust us to do it, and we're just trying to build and get better.
Phenomenal. That's absolutely wonderful. Is there any horses that you might have on your radar that are a couple to look out for as we go into the spring months, or maybe even into the summer, that you are quite excited about?
Yeah, there's a filly Oriel. She won a Nace for us last year. She was bought out of Rafe Beckett's, and she only came, and she was a pony. She was very narrow. She were kind of the boys bought her for the crack, so she had to run there in Galway. She ran. We only had her month. She ran well, and she won a Nace next run. She was always very weak, and she's done very well for her break. She's in the pre-training yard there. They sent me a video yesterday, and she looks like a bullock. I'm delighted. I can't wait to get her and be able to train her rather than just tipping her along and feeding her. I think she will improve. She was up to 82, and I do think I was trying to convince the boys to go hurdling with her, but they wouldn't let me.
Who's she by?
She's by Natalia. Natalia.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, that would have worked out. You would have thought. I think Zana here, obviously flying his flag, and I think did Willie's mare that won the Triumph Hurdle, was she Nathaniel? I think she might have been.
Could have been.
Yeah. That won the Goshen one, but
she still might land the mare's maiden hurdle somewhere in the summer now. I have her school, so.
Very, very good.
We do think that's our way suits. I think with even the flat ones, we're very lucky around here. We can do something different every day. Like we don't just have to go to the gallop. There's plenty of land, plenty of fields around. around the roads. They don't take half as much work as the pointers or the jumpers, so you can keep them ticking over well.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, that's absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much, Ian. Is there any other details you might want to give of horses for sale, or where people can people can find you? Do you have a website or an email or anything like that? Or don't want to put you on the spot now, but
I'll put my neck in line now. We run 2 in Tyrrell on Saturday. 5-year-old filly. I think she's a nice filly. And a 5-year-old gelding by Kingston Hill called There You Are. I think he'll win. And he's for sale. We were only talking about this morning, like Liam there, one of the lads that helps us, and Ross, little brother. Both of them probably would have won in Navan on Saturday and then Royal on Tuesday. They would on their work, but they could still go and end up finishing 4th in their point. That's how competitive they are. Like,
yeah.
So it's nice to know that we have the gauge of the track ones for them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely brilliant. Well, if anybody's looking for a horse, guys, that's absolutely fantastic. And look, Ian, really appreciate your time that you've given us here. And yeah, all the very, very best for the future. And with a bit of luck, we see St. Denis as well. Maybe back over hurdles, or are you going to continue?
No, we'll continue chasing him. I suppose when we think he gets to his limit there, we'll go back for an 895 somewhere. Perfect.
And he's definitely one to keep forward, even going into next season, as you said, as he continues to grow and take the Irish handicap and scene by storm. But Ian, we very much appreciate you joining us here, and all the very best for the rest of the season and the flat season incoming as well.
Cheers. Thanks, lads. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much to Ian Donoghue for giving up his time and joining us. Some really, really interesting interview. And he fancies us a lad tomorrow in the half-hour Dundalk, so don't miss that. Well, without further ado, then, Dec, we'll move straight on to the first race at Fairyhouse, the SBK handicap chase over 2 miles. Not the easiest one to solve, really. Never is at this level. But who would your fancy be here?
I struggled with this one. I didn't have any mad fancy. I thought there was a lot of holes to be picked in them, and I ended up on Battle It Out, who's actually running his first handicap beer over hurdles or fences. He was a maiden hurdle winner. He was third to Saffron in the beginner's chase at Fairyhouse the last day. That was the day now that Hunter's Yarn fell, when he was well clear. So he was well held, but Conor O'Dwyer was in the stand near us, and he was keeping a keen eye on him. So he was taking a good look at his jumping. Look, as you do, but it did. I don't know. I something just kind of stood out to me, like, you know. As was in Ireland, you regularly stand beside trainers, but he seemed to be having a good hard look. While the winner was probably back in the winners enclosure. He's only 6. I do think he's a horse with a lot of potential. But you know yourself.
Yeah.
These colours. I think it's a very winnable race. Whether he's going to be off or not is another thing.
Could be another day.
Our old friend Battle of Ridgeway is in here, but he's probably gone up a pound or two for finished second the last day. I don't know. There was nothing really standing out to me. I thought there was holes to be picked in a lot of them, whereas this horse, he is top weight. He's probably just going to be better than this. You don't know where this fella's ceiling could be. It's just whether it's Saturday or not. We don't know. Although I think when he is asked to go and do it, he would be all it is.
Yeah, 116. I don't think the handicappers missed him in a sense, but like he was 116 hurdler, and it was his last run over hurdles was obviously a win in Maiden Hurdle Company at long odds on. Well behind the big chap, and then, as you said, ran a nice enough race behind Safleur. He probably wasn't done with though when falling behind as luck would have it. Tough one when it's all joined together like that. He wasn't done with behind as luck would have it, and you know, on the base of that form, that you could make an argument that's the strongest piece of chase for him, because that was the second last where he fell, and so the handicapper obviously would count that run. The one I came down on was Midnight It Is. Again, wouldn't be the strongest of selections. Well behind Captain's Nephew, and kind of pretty well enough fancied at Clonmel. But again, gave his chance away, turning for home at Nace, or just before they turned for home, pecked on landing, and he just pecked on landing and gave really all his chance away. He was only beaten about 2 lengths that day by Pat's Choice. I think that was a decent race, probably a better race than this. Snake Oil also ran a lovely race back and forth that day. It was the infamous first time we backed Verdon Place.
Yeah, well, we've got to the bottom of Verdon Place as well now, haven't we?
We've
came to let everyone know.
Yeah, he burst, so that's he's off the list. Unfortunately, he's going to go down as probably a tap legend for all the wrong reasons. But that's unfortunate. But no, Midnight it is. His chance really went at the second last at Naas the last day. Probably comes back into a lesser race here, and he would be my selection to go and take this. So it'll be Midnight it is for myself, and Dec, you'll be on the McManus horse.
Battle it out first time in the handicap.
Battle it out first time in a handicap. Onto the early bird for Easter Festival at Fairyhouse Handicap Chase, a not 109. Kind of rare, Dec, we see 3.25 miles being the trip in Ireland. You see it very regularly in England, but I was actually just, when I was looking at this race, I was trying to think, is there many races over 3 mile 2 in Ireland? It's either 3 or 3, 4, 3, 5.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. Again, not the strongest race you will ever see. Baldur's Gate in good form up the top of the market there, or top of the market, top of the weights. Where's Frankie? If you take out his last run, which was back over hurdles, he would be banged there. His 2 runs over fences, especially over this course and distance, or just course, sorry, not quite distance. Not too bad at all. He was one that kind of caught my eye the most, with Danny Gilligan taking off 5. What about yourself?
Look, Baldur's Gate's in here top weight. I think he should have won that Cork. And he's only got he's up 1 pound for finishing second. So, if I think he should have won, I do think he's a great chance here. He's won over 3 miles in November. I think that race at Cork was 2.5 miles. I think is he 9? But I do think he's a horse on an upward course still. I do think he does have a little bit of room, but I'm not sure he's going to be winning this. Pictures of Home was 10 lengths behind Katie's Hill in the beginners the last day.
He never jumped that day.
No, he's won off 99 over hurdles, and this is handicap chase debut off 102. But while I'm keeping an eye on, he's not for me after that last run. And I heard Ted Walsh saying to someone on the way out that, Pictures of Home wasn't without a chance. So it's not like today was they thought they could have won that race. Josh Dade, 7-year-old, first time tongue tie, 15 lengths far to palpable, but he wasn't keeping on with Back in the Room when Back in the Room fell, and Back in the Room is the one I fancy here. He wasn't beat off 118. I wasn't beat far off 118 over hurdles. As I said, he was keeping on quite well behind palpable. He's going to need to jump better than he's shown to date. Although it hasn't been overly bad, I think he's fallen and he's unseated. But look, he looks well handicapped. He was bumping into one the last day, no matter what. Palpable was really, really well in, running off a much lower chase mark than his hurdle mark. But it'd be Back in the Room. Now, I do really like. Well, it's not that I like low mileage, but he caught me eye the last day in the rated novice chase. I thought he jumped the last 2 like a horse with loads left, even though he was well beat. Other than that, I don't think he's really shown enough. He's probably the fly in the ointment if he suddenly finds a lot of improvement. He's the one I'm worried about, but on form, I'm going with Back in the Room.
Yeah, the unexposed 7-year-old who's having a 6 chase start and stepping up to, he said, that 3 miles 2 furlongs. It's his first time anywhere above 3 miles over fences. Did try 3 miles at Limerick over hurdles and ran quite well, actually. I think that was his best run. It was 4th behind Young Dev in 2022. That's probably one of his better efforts that he's recorded in his career so far. So a lot of optimism for the trip. I can see where you're coming from. I'm just going with the safe bet with Where's Frankie. I think he'll get around and give you quite a good run for your money. Clearly likes Fairyhouse as well. Dec, we'll move on to the feature on the card, the Solarina Mares Novice Hurdle. Grade 3 event over 2.5 miles. Pretty competitive. 7 going to post, pink in the park. Probably a career best last time out, in second at Leopardstown to Jatara. But the one that I really want to talk about, and one that I was blown away on the 28th of December. I've talked about this mare quite a bit to you, Dec, Jade Donoghue. I think she's a proper one. The way she beat Butcher Hollow, though, I know you can probably nab that form. Butcher Hollow does look like a stayer, but they were well ahead of the third, and she didn't really come out of second gear to beat them, albeit getting the £7 sex allowance. There's some nice mares around this year, especially in the novice division. And I was a little bit disappointed by Gavin Cromwell's at Lingfield last weekend. The name is just escaping me, though. I'll get it now in a moment. But this is the one I'm really, really like. I think she can win here, and I'd actually fancy her to maybe even follow up at Cheltenham. Brian Hayes riding because Paul Townend is in Cheltenham for a trials day, Dec. Would you agree here, or would you be fancying something else?
You've spoken a lot to me about this one, so I trust you here. You're very, very confident about her. You speak very, very highly of her, so I will follow you in. She's gonna be odds on.
I wouldn't say she's gonna be a backable price, unless Look to the West, who does have a bit of a profile herself. Rachel Blackmore riding for Henry de Bromhead, Rob Core. But she made all the running. Maybe wasn't best suited to making all the running. So you could maybe mark that performance up a little bit. But I do think Jade Donoghue might be a little classier.
Yeah, look, I do think Look to the West is potentially very good. She's a point winner, and she's a maiden winner. And Penny 100, she was 6 lengths second to Jatara. And look, Jatara is improving at a rate of knots. And Mayor's Walk was in that race. She hit the second or third last very hard, and she was pulled up. I'm not sure a Penny 100 would have been ahead of her. So, like, it's all pointing back to Jade Donoghue. She, that's an impressive performance, beating Butcher's Hollow by 15 lengths. So, you're talking about her a lot. So, yeah, I don't think it's, when you're that confident, I'm happy enough to follow you.
I don't think she'd have, if I know going forward to Cheltenham, I don't think she'd have any problem dropping back to 2 miles. She's already dropping back to 2 miles 2 here. I think just the calendar dictated where she went at Christmas time, similar to Ballyburn, who I would also fancy coming back to 2 miles. But Jade Donoghue, as we said, the only slight worry I would have, and it's probably not a worry, because they will go to Cheltenham. Easter's just very, very close this year, and there is a grade 1 at Fairyhouse for the mares. And if I was lucky enough to have a mare this good, I'd probably want my grade 1 black type instead of the grade 2 at Cheltenham.
Absolutely.
So that is in the back of my mind. And the same owner, obviously Kenny Alexander, they kept Honeysuckle home. They avoided Cheltenham. I don't think there was a mare's novice hurdle. I mean, there was a mare's novice hurdle actually for. But they did keep Honeysuckle at home. So fingers crossed that they don't do that. I imagine they will go to Cheltenham. But this is a serious mare, and I really like her. I don't think she's going to be a betting proposition here, but she will be at Cheltenham, and she'd be firmly on my radar for that. Moving on then, Dec, to the 250, the SBK Maiden Hurdle. So I feel like we're always covering Maiden Hurdles on this show. There's so many on the last couple of
at Fairyhouse, didn't we?
We had 3 at Fairyhouse, a good old industry day. We love a good industry day. And this is 12 going to post. Western Diego probably is the most known horse to listeners in here. Obviously ran in the champion bumper last year. A little bit disappointing though, on his hurdles bow, finishing 5th. Beaten a long way by No Time to Wait, and he was odds on to win that race. So he has to put a disappointing run behind him. Shoot the Blues won a bumper by Blue. He's by Blue Brazil. Limerick, he won a Limerick bumper in October, so you'd wonder maybe if he had a little setback. He's also 7 and has had 1 career start, so you could have the question: is he easy to train? But Dec, where are you going here?
Yeah, I landed on Shoot the Blues. Like, he's a bumper winner. The second has followed up since, and I'm not sure it's the hottest maiden in the world.
I wouldn't say so.
Undeniable. Alibuy's probably going to have to show a lot more than the last day. Disappointing. So
yeah,
it's definitely not the most exciting maiden in the world. Be shoot the Blues for me.
Yeah, I'd probably be the same by default. Probably a race just to watch, but he's unexposed and he still has an exciting profile despite his age and his lack of starts. But hopefully Barry Connell obviously puts a lot into the game and training them himself and taking chances on the likes of Mikey O'Sullivan. He does deserve all the success he gets. And with a bit of luck, this horse can go from strength to strength and open his account over hurdles quite promptly.
But look, I suppose it's worth mentioning that we were quite confident on in 8-year-old Barry Connells were only
absolutely Farmers Lodge.
So maybe just continue with a 7-year-old winning the maiden.
That's it, absolutely. Well, it doesn't get any easier with the Maidens deck. The CJ Sheeran Group supporting CCR Race Day Maiden Hurdle is up next, and I think this one has attachments to it. I think this is for horses that have not been placed under rules. So these get very, very, very difficult.
I thought this was the Mayor's Maiden for a while. There's a lot of them in here.
Yeah, there is quite a few. God knows what you could be finding in here. There could be some horses that have ran nice races and much better maidens, but sometimes the market can often disregard them. And it happens every single year. Obviously Kieran Murphy's horse, Magic Sadler, fancied enough at Limerick when beaten by the Graveyard Bookie. He was only 7-2 that day. Ran a lovely race behind Chapeau de Soleil before that at Clonmel at triple figure odds. I think he was 4th that day. That run would probably put him bang there in this race, would you think, Dec?
Sorry, Andy, who was that?
It was Magic Sadler. Kieran Murphy.
No, I tell you, the one I was looking at was Time for Tea.
Okay.
She was 6 lengths far to the other Mozzie, and I think that form's reading quite well with Blue Denver finishing 2nd this week and or was it this week or last week? But the
Blue Denver, that was at Down Royal, wasn't it?
I was Down Royal, yeah. And the third horse's price hacked up in the auction Maiden at Turles on Sunday. Now it was probably a bad race, but look, the form reads well anyway. The other one I was having a look at was only $1. She was 6 lengths for to Bingeworthy, but was that? I don't know if something was amiss there. I'd imagine it was because Bingeworthy was beaten out of sight by, was it Spread Boss Tom or Spread Tom? Was it that race?
Yeah,
The we looked at the other day. So it'd be time for me today of everything. The horse, the tortoise won really, really well, and the second's gone close. So, look, not a race I'll be advising anyone to get involved in, but as a selection, it's Time for Tea.
Yeah, no, they are often races that you could pick a maiden hurdle. For example, that Fairyhouse Maiden that was won by Firefox, where Ballyburn was 2nd, and you're getting handicap winners coming out of it. You could take a chance on a horse that finished 9th or 10th in that in a race like this, because the odds they are usually missed. But unfortunately, there isn't a horse of that nature in here. But for me, as I said, Magic Sadler, well enough backed at Limerick. Maybe just ran a little bit below form, but I thought that was a nice run behind Chapeau de Soil. And I would take a chance on him here. But again, as I echo what you say, Dec, probably not one to be going absolutely crazy on. We'll move on to the 350 the Adair Manor handicap hurdle, 80 to 116 for the the equivalent of apprentice riders, I suppose. There is one in here that we'll give a shout out to Chris from the Under Starters Orders podcast. He has had this horse on his radar for over the festive period, but give him the honor if you want to. We will give him the honor, I suppose. But give him the honor, Dec. Do you want to talk a little bit about him there?
Yeah, well, we did say he might take a run. We mentioned that to Chris, but it was a very good run. He was 6 lengths third.
Friendless in the betting.
Was he? Yeah.
Sorry, friendless. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually didn't think he'd get that close at all the last day, but He was definitely going to be on my radar the next day. But it was a very good run. 6 lengths. He was beaten off 102. He's gone up 1 pound to 103, which is, you know, it's okay. We live with that. He could have got 2, but that was over 2 mile 4. He's stepping up half a mile here. Coco Colada, who was 1 length behind, won at Down Royal on Monday. Was it Monday? Tuesday? Monday.
Down Royal Tuesday. Oh, Tuesday, I think, was it?
Tuesday. So, yeah, look, this is not material for me. I'm pretty confident this horse goes in. I'm not sure. I think he could be favourite.
I think he will be favourite.
He's far from favourite on the tissues, but I think he opens up favourite here. And I can't see him being beaten. If there was one that was going to be the danger, it'd be One Big Bang. Like, he gave a good go on his second handicap over this trip the last day. He's up 2 pound. He's a possible danger, but you know, he probably follow him home. I'd say he's going to bump into one. You know, that was it. That was a nice run, first time in the handicap. And as you said, there was no money for him.
Friendless.
So,
you know, couldn't give him away.
He just ran well. He's stepping up half a mile. Yeah, this is.
He takes all the boxes.
Nap at the top if you're not.
No, no, this will win.
Okay, nap at the top.
This will win. So all being equal, this will win. I'd say. It's, as we said, like we like Tick stepping up in trip, eye catch and run last time out. You can throw in the fact that, you know, they couldn't give him away free and a happy meal if they tried. Like, he was just nothing coming from, not a bean.
That is important. Now, running that well first time in a handicap when there's no money, it's
usually a sign.
That's another box to tick. So
6-year-old as well. 4 hurdle starts, 6 lifetime starts, up to 3 miles. Showed a liking for testing ground last time out as well, and you can maybe that was the reason he was a drifter. You could maybe make the argument there, since he had a lot of form on yielding ground as a younger horse. But I think this will win. If we can keep it simple.
He's not going to be an each way price, but you don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, exactly. We'll move on then, Dec, to the good old bumper, the SBK Pro-Am flat race. So the top horse here, Argento Boy, Jody Townend riding. This had a couple of entries. I had entries on Sunday and I had some entries last week as well. So obviously been ready to run for quite a while. Obviously in the Galopin des Champs colours as well. So that people are going to latch on to that one. Born Braver for Gavin Cromwell. As we usually say, Gavin only runs his good ones in bumpers. This lad has plenty of experience in the point field. Who's 7 runs. He's won his last 2, so he seems like he's gotten the hang of things, and he makes his rules debut here as well. So they're 2 quite interesting ones up the top, and there's obviously Machismo. Machismo. I'm going to go with Machismo. Who won a point-to-point on his only start and is now making his rules debut. Dec, am I wasting your time here, or is there anything you say?
I have absolutely no opinion on this race. There's just not enough to go on, so I'm not even going to try put up a selection here. Look, as I always say, bumpers are, often the most important race you can watch, but not always a betting race. You have so little to go on, or you don't want to be part of my money. So, a race to watch back afterwards, I'd say.
That's it. Well, Joseph's won the bumper on top 25 at Gowan, a shade of odds on, and I made a spiel on that one that obviously wasn't bought for bumpers. He was bought to try and win the Derby, but he's won a bumper at Gowan, so they've nearly got a little bit of 280k back. They were probably previous owners though. Definitely a nice horse though. I don't know if you saw the bumper today, Dec. No, I don't. Didn't expect that else. So that brings us to an end of proceedings, Dec. We do have a nap of the top though, which is
we do have a nap. I just wanted to mention a couple of things, Andy. Fairyhouse Irish Racing 7. Any of our followers that's going to Fairyhouse on Saturday, drop him a message, and he has lots of tickets there. So, look, Fairyhouse. Peter Rowe does an awful lot of work online Twitter. He runs the course trying to get people in the gates. So get out there and support it. I'm not sure what the weather's to be like, but beautiful racetrack. home of the Irish Grand National, and there's no reason not to go. There's free tickets there if you just drop Irish Racing 7 the DM.
Fantastic. Fair play, Dec. I would have gone myself. I'm actually in Cheltenham for the day on Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah, myself and Tommy off to Cheltenham for the day. But no, I'm looking forward to going to be watching Give Him the Honour. I say Tommy will back him as well. We'll all back him and we'll make a few quid, hopefully. Nap of the Tap, Give Him the Honour in the 358 Adair Manor Opportunity Handicap Hurdle at Fairyhouse, the penultimate event. And just before we go, I will just say thank you again to our special guest, Ian Donoghue, for taking his time out and telling us a little bit about his yard and his operation. And he really fancies General Idea in the 4:30 claiming race at Dundalk on Friday. For anybody listening, the people will be listening mainly on Friday, but just thought I'd repeat that again.
I wonder will that make it onto Luke's shortlist on the next show?
That's the big question, yeah. The sister podcast, Under Starters Orders. Yeah, we'll look forward to talking a little bit about that as well. But again, we thank you very much for listening, engaging with us. A lot of growth this week, and as I said again, just the Dublin Racing Festival up next week with Hugh Cahill coming on, who again taking his time out to spend some time with two guys here, which we really appreciate, and Leopardstown as well for putting up 2 fantastic tickets for Sunday, the Irish Champion Hurdle. Go to our draw, give us a follow, and you never know, you might get to see a brilliant day's racing with State Man and many others. You might even see us, who knows. But until then, guys, keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing. Thank you very, very much. And that was the Take the Poll podcast.
Cheers,
bye-bye.
Thanks, bye-bye.
See you now.